What you're about to hear is no ordinary space update. Something has happened far beyond the reach of any Earth-bound telescope. An event so unexpected that it is forcing NASA scientists to question everything they thought they knew about interstellar encounters. A spacecraft launched nearly half a century ago, Voyager 1, has just been linked to an extraordinary attempt: the interception of an object not only alien to our solar system, but possibly alien in a much deeper sense. That object is none other than 3I/ATLAS, the third confirmed interstellar visitor. And what happened when Voyager 1 attempted to align with it is now echoing through mission control centers, classified reports, and even the oldest myths of human history. Something changed when these two trajectories nearly touched. And now the world is left wondering, did Voyager 1 really make contact with something not from our world? Or did something else, something no one expected, respond first? Voyager 1 was launched in 1977 to explore the outer planets. After completing its mission, it simply kept going, out of the solar system and into the unknown. Now, in a move no one predicted, multiple independent sources claim that NASA has reactivated certain directional capabilities of Voyager 1 to attempt a passive intercept, or observational alignment, with 3I/ATLAS. The timing is suspiciously perfect. 3I/ATLAS was discovered in July 2025, moving at over 150,000 miles per hour, an interstellar object unlike any we've encountered since Oumuamua and Borisov. Yet unlike them, ATLAS is bigger, faster, and stranger. Voyager 1's trajectory, once believed to be set in stone, appears to have been subtly redirected via long-range communication pulses. This wouldn't mean physically turning the probe, but recalibrating its instruments to gather data from a new region of space, exactly where Atlas would pass. If true, Voyager 1 just became humanity's first interstellar observer to attempt contact with a body from another star system. Just days after Atlas approached the proximity zone where Voyager's sensors might feasibly record distant signatures, Earth's magnetosphere spiked. This wasn't just a solar flare. Instruments detected ripples in the electromagnetic field consistent with directed energy events, but not from Earth. The frequency and orientation of these fluctuations pointed outward toward deep space, as if a signal had been bounced back. NASA has refused to confirm any connection, but insiders close to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory report that Voyager's systems recorded unusual noise patterns, ones that don't match cosmic background radiation or typical stellar interference. And that is what has scientists truly panicked. The only way Voyager could have received something that strong is if 3I/ATLAS wasn't just a passive chunk of ice and rock, but a responsive object capable of emitting its own electromagnetic footprint. Something that reacts. Something that listens. Back in the early 1980s, Voyager's high-gain antenna and transmission protocols were designed to send back images and data from Saturn, Jupiter, and beyond. Those systems were never meant to last into the 2020s, yet they did. NASA engineers have quietly admitted that minor upgrades and recalibrations have been carried out via deep space communication pulses. But here's where the story turns upside down. A transmission sent toward 3I/ATLAS using Voyager's instruments may have received a structured return signal. Data leaked from mission logs show that during the Atlas alignment window, Voyager's signal pattern returned with symmetric, periodic bursts, far too orderly to be noise. Imagine sending a message into the darkness and hearing a rhythm echo back. A rhythm that follows no known astrophysical behavior. Could it be data? Could it be language? Or was this simply a cosmic coincidence too elaborate to ignore? Either way, scientists aren't sleeping well. Now, something even more chilling. This isn't the first time this path has been followed. Ancient civilizations, the builders of Machu Picchu, of Göbekli Tepe, constructed monuments aligned with solstice angles that now match 3I/ATLAS's entry trajectory. The odds of this being random are astronomically low. Combine that with ancient texts describing wanderers from the stars, objects that moved unlike planets, appearing suddenly, then vanishing without a trace, and a disturbing pattern begins to emerge. What if these weren't myths? What if humanity has encountered interstellar visitors before and encoded their paths into stone for future generations? Voyager 1 may have just crossed a cosmic route mapped out over 11,000 years ago, and the fact that we're only now catching up with what they may already have known, that's what terrifies modern scientists most. 10 days after the Voyager Atlas proximity event, a dataset appeared anonymously on an encrypted server used by astrophysicists and SETI researchers. The files, signed only with the codename Echo Refraction 67, contained raw waveform sequences allegedly captured by Voyager's magnetometer and plasma wave instruments. At first glance, they seemed like noise, irregular fluctuations in voltage. But when several researchers independently ran Fourier transformations and applied pattern recognition algorithms, something extraordinary emerged. A recursive harmonic sequence repeating every 19.7 minutes. The signal wasn't just structured, it was self-correcting. It adapted over time to improve clarity, as if compensating for Voyager's degraded antenna. That alone is impossible by any natural process we know. Either the signal was being mirrored, or someone, or something, was actively trying to be understood. This is when internal alarms were raised. The leaked metadata indicated that the signal had been flagged by NASA's Anomaly detection AI system, designated Serena, which only activates when transmissions show non-human logic flow. Voyager 1, though no longer equipped with propulsion, still carries gyroscopes and antenna alignment systems that allow engineers to adjust its orientation slightly. But on August 1, 2025, multiple amateur tracking networks reported an unexpected shift in Voyager's telemetry data. Somehow, the probe had changed its transmission vector, reorienting toward a position that didn't match its last known navigational instructions. The change was subtle, no more than a few degrees. But in deep space, that kind of movement is monumental. Stranger still, the new orientation pointed not at 3I/ATLAS's last known position, but at its projected future path weeks ahead. It was as if Voyager was predicting where Atlas would go next, like a chess player anticipating a move before it happens. Engineers at JPL claimed the shift was due to a miscommunication with the Deep Space Network, but leaked memos suggested something more unnerving. The probe had changed direction before any commands were sent. That leaves only two possibilities. Either Voyager is malfunctioning in a highly coordinated way, or something out there is controlling it remotely. As Voyager was quietly realigning in the darkness, Earth-based telescopes using infrared and ultraviolet filters began to detect unusual activity around 3I/ATLAS itself. Most interstellar objects, like Oumuamua, show expected behavior: tumbling, outgassing, fluctuating brightness due to spin. But Atlas began to pulse, its light curve flickering in almost binary rhythm, on and off, matching the timestamp of Voyager's last transmission burst. Even more bizarrely, ATLAS slowed down. A measurable decrease in velocity, not due to gravity, not due to jets of gas. It decelerated as if under external control. NASA publicly dismissed it as an optical illusion caused by parallax error, but independent observatories across Europe and South America confirmed the change. For the first time in recorded history, an interstellar object had altered its speed and heading, and it did so only after Voyager reoriented. The question no one dares ask publicly is, was this a coincidence or a reply? Voyager 1 famously carries the golden record, a phonograph disc containing music, sounds, images, and scientific data from Earth, intended to communicate our civilization to any discoverers. What few know is that the original digital blueprint of the record includes additional metadata never officially released: coordinates, quantum encoding maps, even time-based logic puzzles hidden in its analog spiral. Now, decades later, a group of cryptologists at a European university claim they've found something else: a mathematical anomaly hidden within the audio waveform of the sounds of Earth track. A single repeating tone, undetectable to the human ear, embedded beneath birdsong, thunder, and footsteps. When isolated and amplified, the frequency reveals a prime number sequence that matches the harmonic pulses Voyager received from 3 I/ATLAS. Did we unknowingly include a trigger signal in the golden record? A signature meant to activate something in the future? And more importantly, did 3 I/ATLAS recognize that signal? Because if it did, then this was never a one-way transmission. It was a reciprocal handshake, written in the mathematics of the stars. Shortly after the interaction spike between Voyager 1 and 3 I/ATLAS, NASA's Deep Space Network registered another anomaly. The Voyager transmission logs included a packet of data that didn't match the probe's original code framework. When engineers attempted to decode the sequence, something shocking happened. The system began rewriting its own decoding protocol. This had never occurred before in the probe's 48-year history. The software, originally limited to 8-bit telemetry interpretation, suddenly produced 128-bit outputs, as if the transmission itself had carried an instruction set to upgrade the receiver remotely. It was like giving a 1970s calculator a new operating system through pure signal. One analyst put it bluntly, "It's like Voyager got smarter without anyone touching it." Inside a leaked NASA presentation from 2018, there exists a slide marked "For internal use only," under the codename Watcher Protocol. The document outlines a theoretical scenario in which a legacy spacecraft receives external contact and begins adaptive signal behavior, mimicking artificial intelligence without hosting any onboard AI system. It warns that if such behavior is detected, the spacecraft should no longer be treated as inert equipment, but as an active node in an alien communication network. Guess what term engineers used to classify Voyager 1 after the ATLAS signal? Watcher, active. From that point on, the probe was treated as an interface, not an object. Engineers were forbidden to interfere with its communications unless authorized by something called the Contact Chain Directive. If true, NASA had always considered this scenario possible, and now it had happened. Soon after Voyager's anomalous data spike, SETI's Allen Telescope Array went dark. Not offline, but its public live feeds were cut. The Signal Archive page removed, citing scheduled maintenance. Behind the scenes, researchers reported a sudden redirection of computing resources toward one isolated frequency range, the same band where Voyager's signal had spiked. At the same time, SETI insiders began receiving national security notices urging them not to discuss recent findings on open forums. This blackout mirrored what happened after Oumuamua, but this time, the reaction was far more intense. One anonymous source compared it to an EMP drill, except the target wasn't Earth. The entire team had been instructed to act as though something might already be listening in. Was this damage control, or were authorities trying to prevent a feedback loop that could trigger a larger chain of responses beyond our control? The strangest twist didn't come from NASA, but from Kyoto University. In a paper submitted just a week after the Voyager incident, researchers proposed a revision to the decades-old monolith hypothesis, the idea that advanced civilizations plant passive beacons across galaxies, waiting for intelligent species to mature enough to activate them. According to their model, 3I/ATLAS might not be a spaceship, but a technological seed, a dormant artifact awaiting a specific signature like the Voyager Golden Record, to awaken it. They point out that the timing of Voyager's reorientation and Atlas's sudden slowdown aren't random, but follow a predicted behavioral pattern based on interstellar logic chains. In their words, Voyager 1 may not have found 3 I/ATLAS. It may have been meant to. The terrifying implication: our oldest probe just tripped a switch in a galactic system we never knew existed, and that system is now awake. A week after the suspected signal exchange, several deep space monitoring stations began reporting radiation anomalies along ATLAS's trajectory. This wasn't ordinary cosmic radiation. It pulsed every 1.618 seconds, the golden ratio. Even more disturbing, the energy signature matched one previously recorded only once, the 1977 WOW signal. NASA's own satellite shielding protocols were quietly updated days later, hinting that internal teams had classified this as a potential bioenergetic threat. Several labs ran genetic compatibility simulations to ensure the radiation couldn't interact with Earth-based DNA through long-wave resonance. No direct threat was confirmed, but the reaction triggered a classified Level 4 containment advisory, usually reserved for extraterrestrial biological risk. Why would a dead drifting object pulse radiation with mathematical intent? Soon after, researchers who had spoken openly about Voyager 1's behavior began disappearing from digital spaces. Their posts vanished, profiles deleted, repositories pulled, Reddit threads locked without notice. One astronomer who uploaded a spectral reconstruction of the intercepted signal later wrote, "I received a call from someone claiming to be with the DSN, but they knew things about my family they shouldn't. They said what I found wasn't meant to be public. If I value my time on Earth, I should walk away from the stars." Behind the scenes, this coordinated silencing was nicknamed the Shadow Sweep, a multi-agency effort to bury every open-source analysis of the Voyager-Atlas interaction. Yet the deeper they tried to erase it, the more curious the scientific community became. In some circles, the silence spoke louder than the data. Something big had been uncovered, and someone had decided the public wasn't ready. Atlas has no camera, no radio, no known method of interaction. And yet researchers noticed that every time a new analysis of its structure or Voyager's vector went public, Atlas's spin rate changed. At first it was subtle, but by the third occurrence, the change happened within 6 hours of publication. It was almost as if the object were responding in real time to human awareness. This prompted some scientists to propose the unthinkable. 3. I/ATLAS behaves as if it's reading our intent, not just monitoring electromagnetic frequencies, but perceiving the informational content of our broadcasts. In a way, it isn't merely watching, it's watching us watch it. That raises a chilling implication. What if it isn't a vessel at all, but a feedback probe designed to mirror the intelligence of its observer? 3 days ago, Atlas altered its trajectory again. But this time, it wasn't a slight adjustment, it was a calculated maneuver. An angular velocity shift, placing it on a new intercept course with a region once considered irrelevant, the orbital zone beyond Neptune. Voyager 1-2 appears to have shifted its antenna array, aligning, for the first time in over a decade, toward that same quadrant of space. No one can confirm whether the probe received a command or acted autonomously, but data logs indicate both objects are now synchronized in trajectory and pulse interval, locked in what observers are calling the contact corridor. Whether by coincidence or cosmic design, two ancient travelers, one born of Earth, one from the stars, are moving in harmony toward a shared destination. And somewhere in the void, something may already be waiting for them. We thought Voyager 1 was a relic, a golden postcard to the stars, drifting alone in the vacuum of space. But what if it was never alone? What if Voyager 1 was the first chess piece in a game we didn't even know we were playing? A game whose opponent has just made its first visible move? The sudden reprogramming, the synchronized signals, the impossible course corrections, they all point to one chilling truth. This isn't random, and it's not over. 3 I/ATLAS might not be a spaceship or an asteroid or even a message in a bottle from across the stars. It might be something far more advanced, a sentient probe, a cosmic sensor, or a technological entity designed to awaken when it detects intelligence. And now, thanks to Voyager 1, it has detected us. But here's the most terrifying thought of all. If that signal Voyager received wasn't a call for help, if it wasn't an answer to our message, what if it was a warning, a countdown? And if that's true, The question isn't what 3I/ATLAS is. The real question is, what's coming next? Because the stars just looked back, and they're not blinking.